Okay, so let's move on to Module 1. Module 1 is covering a joint venture market research. We'll look at an introduction to joint ventures for those of you who are new to joint ventures, and for those of you who have heard the term joint ventures before. We'll look at how joint ventures work, and we'll do a brief introduction to joint ventures. We'll also look at the importance of keyword research, why it's important to concentrate on this area, especially when you're doing joint ventures, whether you're brokering deals or whether you're going out to find partnerships for your own business. We'll also look at some of the keyword research tools that myself and my team of joint venture brokers use. Some of these tools you might not have heard of before, but these are tools that will really help you in terms of doing keyword research for joint venture products and joint venture partners. We'll also look at defining your target market, which is very, very important. Obviously, when you're approaching joint venture partners or finding joint venture products, you need to define your target market. This is an essential business component. We'll also look at some target marketing tools. Again, I'll be covering some tools that I use myself personally and my joint venture brokers also use to define our target markets, especially when we're working with clients. And then we'll look at the 3 important components of a successful joint venture. What makes up a successful joint venture? What are the 3 components needed to make a joint venture successful? Now, this training that we're covering right now is, I would say, more or less foundation-based training to get you into learning about joint ventures. I do have some other programs. This is not as intense as my consulting or my brokering programs. Those are quite intense and cover more. And obviously, if you look in the portal, the Joint Venture Academy, there'll be more information there. Okay, let's look at an introduction to joint ventures. First of all, what is a joint venture? Now, a joint venture is basically an agreement of mutual benefit between 2 or more people or businesses who have complementary resources. Now, resources can range from anything from products and services to business assets and a customer list. As long as there is a relationship with the list and the list owner that can be leveraged for minimal cost, then a joint venture can be done. Now, I always talk about joint ventures, and especially my experience of doing joint ventures around the world. And one of the classic examples that I always give for joint ventures is, let's say you take a bathroom tile manufacturer, a luxury bathroom tile manufacturer, and you have a luxury bath manufacturer. Now, both of these companies share the same customer base, okay? The very similar customer base. Customers are looking for both products, but here's the thing. Both companies see each other as competitors, but they have complementary resources. They have a list that can be shared. Now, both the companies can get together and actually do a joint venture, which happens to minimize their advertising and promotion costs, because one company is already doing that and the other company just basically piggybacks on the back of it and they share the profits. Now, most companies don't do this because, as I say before, they see each other as competitors. And this is where someone like myself or my team of joint venture brokers who I train would be beneficial for them to come in and broker a deal between these 2 companies. Now, you're going to find in this program, I'm going to uncover a lot of opportunities for you right now, especially with what's happening in the economy and how businesses and how joint ventures now are in such demand. It's just unbelievable the sort of opportunities there are. So again, make sure you take lots of notes while watching this module and the other modules, of course, and you can join in the discussion in the forum or in the live chat feature. So joint ventures are pretty incredible, and it's one of the things that actually the main thing that I've used for the last 20 years to really grow some phenomenal businesses. And I'm going to take you through that throughout this whole program and show you how powerful joint ventures really are and how you can go out and apply it. I'll also show you a process and a system to be able to do it very, very easily. It all comes down to a process and a system that you can go out and apply. So let's look at, first of all, what I always talk about is, what is a business's most valuable asset? Now, if you're watching the recording of this, obviously, and if you're watching this live, I want you to type in the chat box right now for me, if you can, just what do you think is a business's most valuable asset? If you can do that right now, that'd be great. Okay, we have a database. We have the list. We have a well-nurtured customer list, and our customer base and related list, the people. Okay, brilliant. So this is interesting, how people's ideas of, what is a business's most valuable asset. You must have heard the term, the money is in the list. Actually, the money is in the relationship you have with the list. So yes, the relationship between a business owner and its customers is the most valuable asset that can be leveraged. And here's the thing, I have built very successful businesses on very small lists, okay, and very small customer lists, because my customers, especially in the business that I am in, I have high ticket items, which means my average cost of one of my programs, for example, is probably $5,000. Now for that, I don't need a massive customer list, but I need to build a good relationship with the people who are on my list. And for that, it's really good because I can leverage that in a certain way and have really good quality customers who have the money also to be able to spend on my program. So, and then on the flip side, I also have friends who have big lists. I have a friend who has a 500,000 list, or one who has a million list. But it's always, I find nowadays, the people with the smaller lists who have that relationship with their lists are the ones that are doing really, really well. So this is pretty interesting, and this is one of the things that if you're looking to do joint ventures or going out to do any sort of joint ventures, you make sure that the joint venture partners you're working with, they have a relationship with their customers and yourself also. And I'll tell you why that's important. When a business is sold, this is the asset that's valued on the balance sheet. You've heard the term goodwill. Now, it's very important to realize this. I sold a business in 2006 to a $160 million IT group. And the reason why they bought the business was because of the goodwill we had. We had goodwill with a lot of corporate clients. And the big group, actually, we sold part cash, part equity. We sold the business to them. It was back then. It was a close to $16 million business, and we sold a majority stake to this group because that was the main asset that was really valuable to them. Also, here's some statistics which are very interesting. It costs 6 times as much to sell to a new buyer. Now, how do we know that? Well, a lot of us spend a lot of money on lead generation. One of the big things that I get asked all the time as a coach and consultant is, how do we minimize the cost of lead generation? And joint ventures are amazing for that, and I'll give you an example of a case study of a client. I recently came back from New York to help with lead generation. Now, here's the thing. It costs 6 times as much to sell to a new buyer, okay? Because the reason is we're spending a lot of money on generating new leads, customer acquisition, basically. But selling to the same customer again is pure profit. So if you've acquired that customer, if you sell to that customer again, you've covered your initial cost, hopefully, or you may have even broken even. But when you make the second sale, that is pure profit. So if you continue selling to your existing customers after you've spent the money acquiring them, it is pure profit. Now, here's the thing. It costs you nothing. It costs you zero if you use somebody else's list to acquire customers. This is a classic joint venture. This is why joint ventures are so powerful. It costs you zero, right? It costs you nothing upfront to acquire customers. The cost of acquisition is zero because someone else is doing all the marketing and promoting, and you're actually just giving them a percentage of the sales that are made. And the thing is, more of the profit is yours because there's no advertising costs. Now, I recently just came back from New York. I had a client seek me out on LinkedIn, and I'm going to cover in one of the modules how to use social media and the power of the internet to increase your credibility to go out and find more joint venture partners. But I had a client who approached me on LinkedIn. It was a finance brokerage based in New York, and they asked me about my programs. And I said, look, I do a program every quarter. It's a $15,000 program for joint ventures and joint venture brokering. And they said, look, here's the thing. How about if you came to us? Could you teach myself? He was a CEO. could you teach myself and my sales team how to do joint ventures? I said, yeah, sure, I can. So they paid for me to fly out to New York. They put me up in the beautiful Mandarin Oriental Hotel overlooking Central Park, and I spent actually one day with them consulting and coaching them how to do joint ventures. For that, I was paid $30,000, which is quite phenomenal, and it's very cool because obviously they wanted to learn something that they couldn't learn anywhere else, and they wanted me to be present. Whereas if you're going through this program right now, it's a good entry level for anyone who wants to learn about joint ventures, and you're going to learn quite a lot about what I teach and what I coach and consult on in my high level programs as well. So it was pretty cool, and you know, it's with them it was the same thing. They wanted to learn how to decrease their costs of lead acquisition. They were spending a lot of money. Now in their marketplace, they compete with bigger companies. Who spend thousands and thousands of pounds, thousands of dollars on basically customer acquisition and lead generation. Now, quickly, someone's just mentioned that my audio has gone. Can you just give me a yes if you can hear me quickly? Okay, brilliant. That's the power of technology, I guess. Especially when you're doing the training live. So it was pretty phenomenal. You know, got back from New York, and it was really cool. So this is the classic example of when I talk about a business's most valuable asset and how you can decrease your lead generation costs using joint ventures to typically zero. Okay, so and another classic example I can give is when we used to run we used to have a corporate training company. We used to generate leads by partnering with other companies and giving them something for free to give away to their list. Now, I'll break down for you exactly how this worked. We had a 12-module training program which sold for $5,000. We gave away one module for free, which was worth, let's say, you know, $400, $500 to our joint venture partners who would promote that to their list. Their list would register for the module. We would get their registration details, and our call center would follow up on the back end and upsell them to the $5,000 program. Now, the leads were free, but the leads were hot because people had gone through the program. They liked the program. We got the feedback. It was very easy to close them on a phone. So this is a classic example of how you can use joint ventures to generate leads for free, and even high-ticket leads. And I do quite a lot of this with myself, and my brokers also do this, and I do this a lot when I do a lot of consulting and coaching. So here's a classic example of you know, how powerful it really is. One other thing that you're going to learn on these modules is the joint venture mindset. Now, it's very important that, you know, if you don't have the right success mindset, then you're going to be destined to fail. Mindset is a big thing. You know, it's how I built a business, a very successful 8-figure business. Lost that in 2008. Was totally broke. Went from being a multi-millionaire to totally broke. Then set myself a challenge in 2009 to make $1 million in 12 months, and ended up doing that in 30 days due to the power of joint ventures. And I'll cover that case study in one of the modules and show you exactly step by step how I did that. It was a lot to do with mindset. And it's very important, if you're going to be successful in business, especially understanding joint ventures, you have that joint venture mindset. Now, one of the most powerful things is visualization. It's, I'd say, the best means of manifesting a specific successful outcome. And it's something that I use a lot, and you've heard of vision boards. It's very important to instill this in your business, especially with joint ventures. Joint ventures are a real super growth strategy. Exponential growth can be achieved from joint ventures, and you need to have the right mindset for that. You know, read as many books as you can, and in the Joint Venture Academy portal, we'll have a lot of resources in there for you to help you with that as well. We'll have different resources, and we will be introducing more training in there for you. And one of the things, if you want to attract the energy of opportunity and success, then you should use also affirmations. Affirmations are very important. I've been using affirmations at a very young age, and my students use them as well, and my clients use them, and I have a lot of successful coaches and a lot of successful friends and business owners who use them as well. So in terms of joint ventures, there's some pretty cool affirmations you can use, and you're welcome to repeat these after me if you want. When I'm on the stage speaking, I normally do this, and people repeat it, and it's very powerful. One of the affirmations I always use is, I am the right person, in the right place, at the right time, doing the right things with the right people. Also, I am aware of and open to unlimited joint venture opportunities. I'm involved in the best high-level joint venture opportunities. And, always see yourself as someone adding value to others. Now, a couple of examples. I've had students who have gone through my program who started off thinking, this is something that they can't do, or this is something that's way beyond their normal mode of thinking or even business. But they've succeeded very, very well. I've had students, I'm very happy to say, completed 7-figure joint ventures and 6-figure joint ventures going through my program. So it's pretty cool. The joint venture mindset, any sort of mindset that gives you that success factor, is very important. And it gives you the edge in life as well. I think it's very, very important to really understand how this works. And again, in the Joint Venture Academy portal, there is some free training in there of some of the webinars that I've done on success mindset and focus and 7-figure breakthroughs, and you're welcome to go through those as well. Okay, so let's look at now the importance of keyword research. Now, what I want to do here, guys, is that in this module, I want to really, really scrape the foundation and take you through why it's very important to basically crawl before you can walk, or walk before you can run. It's very important that we learn the basics, especially when it comes to things like keyword research. The stronger you are in doing this, the more successful you'll be. And I've learned this a lot from my mentors. My mentors, I always thought, why are they so successful? How are they so successful? How do they make so much money so very quickly? And how are they consistently making money? It's because they spend a lot of money doing research. Now, when I was a consultant, I'm still a consultant, more of a joint venture consultant now, but when I was doing a lot of management consulting, one of the biggest things why I think I was very successful was because of my research. I went prepared into every meeting with the client, armed with research, more research than even the CTO or the CMO of a company would know inside out about their own industry. I would show up at a meeting, and I would be, I would inundate them with research, all sorts of research, and most times at most that got me the client very, very quickly and very easily, and it got me to understand exactly what we needed to do for each project. So very, very important. So let's look at, first of all, why keyword research. First of all, the most important things about keyword research is, how are your clients finding you? One of the most important things, one of the things you must have heard, a term called reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is very important if you want to build a very successful business from the ground up. And one of the things you need to understand, especially about keyword research, is, how are your clients finding you? Where are they coming from? What are they typing in? What related searches are they doing compared to yours? Are there opportunities for you to partner with these related searches? If someone comes to your place or your website or your business premises and they're also going somewhere else to have a look, what can you do to make them come to you? Or can you partner with other non-competing businesses or even competing businesses and and bag that sale, or make sure that that business comes to you? So this is very important in itself. Also, what are your clients searching for? So first of all, how are they finding you? Secondly, what are they searching for? What specifically are they looking for? What have you got that you can supply them with? Or are there opportunities for you with your business to joint venture with someone else who has that product or service that your clients are searching for, but they're not coming to you for it? So this is a classic example of someone like Walmart's, for example. I spent a lot of time in the US. Walmart's is an amazing place. In the UK we have Tesco, and it's quite phenomenal how you can walk into a place and they literally try to provide you with everything. They've partnered. They have a distribution, okay, which is their shop front, basically. They have the footfall traffic. They are selling other people's products. That's a joint venture. Okay, they've gone out, sourced the best products in the market, sourced products that their customers are after. They've done a joint venture. Now they're supplying those products in their distribution. This is a classic joint venture, and I'll talk more about in the preceding modules how different joint ventures work, but that's a classic joint venture. And something that we should all be looking at in terms of how they do it. Why are they so successful doing this? Sometimes you don't even have to buy the product or stock the product. You can actually have someone else providing a product for you, and you take a cut from that product. That way, at least the customers are staying with you and your business. It's very important, and we'll cover that. Also, what are they thinking? I'm going to show you some sites that you can go to see what people are thinking, what questions they're asking, for example. And this is very important, again. It's very important when it also comes to product development. Now, in Module 2, we'll be covering joint venture product creation, which is one of my favorite things, and it's been very successful and profitable for me. And I'll cover all the tricks in terms of how I do that, and also how others have done it very successfully. But what are they thinking? What are these clients thinking, and how can you tune into that thinking to be able to serve them what they want? Also, are you targeting the right keywords? This is the main thing. You've got to identify the keywords first, and then you've got to figure out, are we targeting these keywords really, really well? How do you create products that people want? Especially if you're doing like product launches or you're releasing new products. How can you do that? Are you targeting the right keywords that people will find? Also, by reverse engineering, you can create products that people want. That way, you will sell products or even services. Also, what are the most profitable keywords to use? Okay, this in itself is very important. And let me tell you, nowadays, people always say, people used to say avoid domain names with hyphens or dashes. Google have changed their algorithm, which means nowadays you can buy domains with hyphens in between because of WordPress. Now with the release of WordPress, hyphens within domains or within keywords have become very common. So now you can go out and use those sort of keywords in domain names as well. Also, how to research keywords properly. We're going to cover basically, how you do this. How do you research keywords properly? What sort of tools do you use, and why it's important to do that? Okay, let's look at maximum keyword research. First of all, to really maximize on your keyword research, you've got to look at several factors. First of all, your own knowledge. What is your knowledge of your specific industry that you're in? Your knowledge is very important for you to be able to maximize any sort of keyword research you do. Also, look at one word that defines your product. What is that one word? It could be anything. For example, with me, it's joint ventures. With a client I have, it's goal setting. What is that one word that defines your product? So look at the keyword that really, really helps you define your product. Write it down. Write it down now. If you're making a note, write it down. Write a note of it down right now, or use the note tool in the portal on the left-hand side to make a note of that one word that defines your product. And you can save it as well, or you can print it. It'll always stay there. Also look at your own customers. Don't forget that you have your own customers who can provide you with any keyword or any research. One of the ways that I would do that is using something like SurveyMonkey at surveymonkey.com. And this is very, very important. You have to regularly be surveying your customers to find out exactly what it is they want. You don't notice how powerful the customer list is. It's very powerful. And it's something that needs to be nurtured on a regular basis. And you just got to find what they want. If your customers are saying that they want shoes and you sell hats, guess what you need to do? You need to either provide them with shoes by sourcing a product and selling it, or joint venture with another company who can do all the fulfillment for you and give you a percentage of every sale, okay, without you handling any sort of products at all. So it's very important you do that. Again, talk or survey your customers. That's a very, very important point. You know, the surveys are strong and they work really, really well. Also, look at your competitors. You know, what is it, what sort of keywords are your competitors using? And, you know, you can easily do that. When I look at some websites, for example, that are doing really well, I would either click on View Source and look at the source code and see what keywords they're using, or alternatively, you can look at the meta keywords. If you view their web page, you can actually look at the HTML and something called meta keywords. You can see what keywords they're using to let people search for them and find them. Again, check their websites for keywords. It's very, very important you do that. And it comes down to doing this on a regular basis. And I'll give you an example of why you should do this regularly. Probably about 2-3 years ago, I was searching, one of my popular keywords is Sahel Khan joint venture, okay, or JV. Now, that's how most people find me in Google. And I was surprised to find that I did a search on Sahel Khan, I think it was joint venture, and up popped a domain name under that search. And I looked at it, and obviously I didn't own that domain name. It was owned by a very well-known internet marketer. A very well-known marketer bought the domain. And I actually contacted that marketer, and we had a discussion, and I was like, so why have you bought my name and keyword as a domain? And he said, well, it's quite a high-ranking domain name, so I thought I could use it. And I managed to persuade that internet marketer to transfer the domain across to me as a gift, because it was actually, the coincidence, it was actually my birthday when that happened. So I said, it's my birthday coming up next week. This would be a great gift for me. It would be really nice if you could gift me that domain. So I ended up keeping that domain, and luckily I got it transferred to myself. But you know, it's very important. You should always be looking at domains, keywords, and especially in your own business, your business name, your trademark, for example. You're looking at your products, and it's very, very important. And this will give you a lot of ideas moving forward as well in terms of how they're being utilized in the marketplace. And again, keyword research tools will cover that, what sort of keyword research tools you should be using. And I'm going to just basically go through the ones that I use. And the ones I also get my brokers and my coaches to use as well. Some of them at the bottom there: Google, Word Tracker, eBay, Amazon, and Weblogs, and we'll look at this. Okay, so that moves us on to the best keyword research tools. So these are some of the best keyword research tools out there, and these are the ones that I use myself. I also recommend to my clients, and my brokers also use these as well. We'll look at the Google keyword tool, probably the most popular keyword tool that's used. We'll look at something called Word Tracker. We'll look at eBay and Amazon. Now, this is interesting. Now, these are some of the biggest growing markets around right now. We'll look at how you can use eBay and Amazon to do searches. Another website, 43things.com. We'll also look at sort of how to use website log files as well, which is very, very important. Okay. So I'm going to take you through how to use some of these tools to do some joint venture market research. Now, here we have the most popular keyword tool, which is the Google keyword tool. And here's a thing, guys, and this is very, very important to before we start. This is very, very important. When you're looking to go into a marketplace, pick a big market and try and get a small share of that market. Don't look at a small market and try and get a big share. No, look at the biggest market you can find and try and get a small share of that market or a percentage of that market. Okay, that's the best way to do this. So let's look, for example, at the keyword personal development. One of the most popular keyword tools, and this is a keyword that I'm using right now with actually a client of ours as well. So we've got personal development. So we type this into the Google keyword tool to see what is the most, highest ranking keyword under personal development. And you can see here, this is one of the most popular ones. It's self-help. The global monthly searches for this is about 300,000. We've got life coach above there as well, but I think self-help is more of a targeted sort of keyword that we can look at and we can use. So now we have that keyword. We go into Google itself and type in self-help. Now it's currently got about 600 million results, okay, for the term self-help. And if we look down the rankings, you can see we've got a website here called selfgrowth.com, self-improvement from selfgrowth.com. So this is a great website to look at. Could be an ideal joint venture partner for us because we're into personal development, and self-help is one of the highest ranking keywords for that, searches, and obviously when people are typing that in, selfgrowth.com are coming high up in the search engine. Now another cool way to really define your search is by putting the quotation marks around the keyword. As you can see there, that narrows it down. Now we have just 21 million results, but this is more targeted. And as you can see here, selfgrowth.com is still there in the top of the search leaderboard. So selfgrowth.com is the website we'll target to do some research and see how ideal they are as a joint venture partner for us. And I'll show you how to break that down in the preceding slides. Okay, so step 2. Here's an interesting thing. Okay, here's a really interesting thing. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to take selfgrowth.com and we're going to put it into the website. Okay, not the word or phrase. And the reason is we want to find what keywords people are using to find this site. This is called reverse engineering. Okay, remember I mentioned everything I do in terms of business-wise, and what I also recommend to a lot of my brokers and clients is always reverse engineer. As long as it's legal, it's fine, but reverse engineer. Work backwards from the problem, work backwards from the goal, work backwards from the outcome, and reverse engineer it. So here what we've done is we've typed in selfgrowth.com into the website box. Reason why is because we want to find out what keywords people are using to find this website that we want to partner with. Okay, what are people typing in to find this? So we've picked up here quotes and motivational quotes is basically, it's too much of a wider market. Now goal and goal setting is interesting. We've also got self-confidence, Wayne Dyer down there, who's a very popular personal development guru. For some strange reason, we've got India IT training. That could be anything to do with probably SEO, for example, or probably the team that they may be using to get them higher the rankings, possibly. But we'll stick with goal and goal setting. 165,000 global monthly searches. It is basically in itself a keyword that people are typing in to find selfgrowth.com. So we'll stick with that. Okay? Right. So now we move on to another tool. Now we have the keyword goal setting that people are typing in to find selfgrowth.com. We want to dig deeper. We want to dig deeper and do some more engineering into finding out more information about this keyword. So another tool you can use is Word Tracker at freekeywords.wordtracker.com. Very good tool used by a lot of marketers. There is a free version there that you can use. I think it gives you up to 100 top 100 keywords, whereas the paid version goes further. So we've typed in goal setting, and this is interesting. In the top 5 searches, we have goal setting for middle schoolers. Now we have goal setting worksheet, which is too wide, goal setting theory, which is too wide, goal setting for middle schoolers. Now, is there an opportunity there to maybe create a product, maybe create a joint venture? Okay, for example, my client could actually approach middle schoolers and say, okay, we have a goal setting workshop, we have goal setting training, could we tailor it to what you guys may want? So we know this is a very a high-ranking keyword, especially in Word Tracker. So it gives you a bit of an idea of, hey, how further can we expand out in terms of opportunities to find. And some of you who I've already spoken to, for example, or we'll have discussions in the discussion forum. This question has always popped up. So, hell, I just want to find a way to find opportunities in my market, in my industry. This is how you do it, okay? Keyword research, very important. Again, you can also use the keyword tool in eBay and Amazon. It's very similar. They both operate the same. So let's say, for example, we go into eBay and we type in men's watches. The great thing with eBay and Amazon, they give you related searches. So let's say, for example, we typed in men's watches. This will give us an example of what people are searching for, which are the highly ranked searches, and this is real time. Men's Fossil watches, Seiko and Rolex. See, these and Tag Heuer, these seem to be the most popular brands running right now on eBay. You can do the same search in Amazon. Amazon will give you a current ranking of what is really, really popular. Basically, it's a great marketing tool, and it's very overlooked. People go straight to Google, but you don't realize that Amazon is one of the biggest search engines. eBay is one of the biggest search engines for a product. It's absolutely phenomenal. And it's a great place also to search for popular items in real time. And if you use this in conjunction with Google, which I'm going to show you right now, it's actually powerful. So, okay, we've done those searches in eBay and Amazon, for example. Now we go over to the keyword tool in Google. We type in men's watches. And here is another search that we've done for the watches. And here's some of the global searches. The Fossil watches, Seiko and Rolex come up really, really high. So again, this is a search we've done, and just in comparison with using eBay and Amazon, it's actually quite powerful. And right now, a lot of people are using Amazon as a keyword tool to find new products and create new products as well for joint ventures. Okay, let's look at another keyword tool. This is 43things.com. This is quite a cool keyword tool, and it's basically a place where you can see the latest trends. I think they've got over 5 or 10 million users who use it, and basically it's an online goal list. So the great thing with this is you can find and listen to what people are saying they want, basically. What are their goals in life? And you can pick up a really good trend. So this is a great trending site where you can pick up all the latest trends in terms of what people are thinking about and what they're setting as their goal. So again, it's a really good tool. These are really powerful keyword tools you can use. For example, here we have a goal for this user to empower girls and women to be free thinkers. And also another one here is to keep a notepad of awesome moments. Now, as you know, we now have the iPad, for example, and we have loads of devices where people can do that. So it's interesting to see what people are looking for. Maybe from this you can create an app. Looking at this, you can probably create an app or joint venture with an app company. There could be, and just look at the trends. If there's a lot of people saying the same thing and it's trending, it's something that people want right now. So it's a really interesting keyword tool to use. Okay, so let's move on now to defining your target market. Now, you must define your target market before creating your joint venture product or service. Okay, this is very important. Before you go into, even before you go into business, I'm in the process of launching another a venture right now to speak, and before I do that, I do heavy target market research into all sorts of aspects to see if there is a target market for the product or service and whether it's worth investing in it and worth putting the time and effort into it. So, before creating your JV product or service, you must define your target market, and for this you have to, first of all, reach the right market. You've got to make sure that you are reaching the right market, whether it's for your joint venture launch, for product launch, or your product. You've got to make sure the message is right, you've got the right message, and you've got to make sure it's also at the right time. Who are your JV partners? Who is the market? What's the message you want to give to your joint venture partners? And what is the timing like? Is it a good time right now to reach out and do a new campaign to increase business by reaching out to joint venture partners. Let's look at now the importance of your target market. Now here's the thing, when finding your market, there are two parts that you need that are very important. One, you need an information-hungry market, a market that's hungry for what you have, hungry for the information you're giving, hungry for the result, the product or the service. And then you need that market to be willing to open their wallets. You need to make sure that you're in a marketplace where people can afford your product or service. And this is why the targeting market or targeting that market is very, very important. The market you choose to create your product, again, must be hungry for that information or product and willing to pay almost any price to get that information. So again, the buyers are willing and able, and the market is big enough to make a profit and expand in the future. So this comes back again to what I discussed earlier. Go for a market that is big and a market that you can get a small share of. It's very, very important because the market is a big market. It's an active market. You may have competitors, yes, that's true, but you've got to carve out a niche or a niche for yourself in that big market. So let's look at some of the best target marketing tools that you can use now. We'll look at the Who Is domain tools. We'll look at a great target marketing tool called Alexa. We'll also look at Quantcast. We'll look at Compete. Something called Board Reader, which is really, really cool. And I'm actually talking right now to some developers in Europe who are actually developing something very similar to Board Reader, and it goes in and it's a piece of software that scans all the forums on the internet and allows you also to join in conversations in the forum if it picks up any keywords, and we'll talk more about that in a second. And I'm going to also mention Clickbank. Clickbank is something that heavily being used by internet marketers, but I think it's a great marketing tool for finding new opportunities for joint ventures and for products as well. So let's look at the Who Is domain targeting tool. If you haven't heard of Who Is, it's a great tool for reverse engineering, again, website and domain names to pinpoint who owns them and gathering some really good data on the background of a website domain name. Two websites you can use is, one is whois.domaintools.com, and another one and a better one is betterwhois.com. So this is whois.domaintools, which is really, really great. We'll take the example again of selfgrowth.com. Now if we wanted to contact selfgrowth.com, we need to find their administrative contact, the technical contact who handles the website. By going into Who Is Domain Tools, you find that the person here is David Ricklin. Now, you would never be able to find this out on the website. If you go to selfgrowth.com, I don't even think they even have a contact number. It's just a form. But here, basically, you've got the full details of the company, where they're based, where they're registered. You've also got, which is interesting, is they registered the domain in 1995, but the actual expiration of the domain is 2020. Which is quite interesting, which means that they are looking to be around for a long time, long-term partners. They're great partners to work with, and this is how we can go and contact them. And I'll be covering in the third or fourth module how to contact joint venture partners, and we'll be going over step by step how to use this tool and how to actually go out and contact joint venture partners and actually how to close deals as well. So that will be covered in the preceding modules. So now that we've got the domain name, this is a really good targeting tool to find out the traffic. Now if you contacted selfgrowth.com, you got speaking to David Ricklin, and David said, well, Sahel, we have about 500,000 visitors a month. Now that's just his word, but if you wanted to find out if that was actually true, and you want to find out the demographics of the actual website, this is a great tool to use. Now, Quantcast tells you that they have about 500,000 visitors a month. It's probably gone up a lot since then, but this gives you an example of the stats that the site was running. Also, the great thing with this is it gives you the demographics. It tells you what are the demographics, what is made up of the website. So that way you can tell if it's worth approaching them for a joint venture or if they are a targeted joint venture partner. Over on the right hand side, you can also see audience also likes. This gives you related searches or related websites that the audience for selfgrowth.com are also visiting. Now, they could be also perfect joint venture partners for you. Now, if you've got selfgrowth.com as a joint venture partner, why not contact the other websites with the same process that you use? Okay, so Quantcast is awesome. Now, if you want to back up Quantcast and say, okay, I want to do a double analysis, then you go next to Compete, which is at siteanalytics.compete.com. Type it into Compete, it gives you the same stats. It's about 500,000 visits a month. Okay, so now we've confirmed that. The great added advantage of Compete is this. Compete has something called referral analytics. It shows you the sites that are sending traffic to selfgrowth.com. Now, you have unique referring sites and sites sending traffic. Majority of these are what is known as affiliates, okay, or people who sign up to a program with selfgrowth.com to promote them in return for X amount of money or percentage or commission. Now, these are affiliates, okay? These are affiliates. The big difference between affiliates and joint venture partners are joint venture partners are people you work with more closely over a long-term basis. Affiliates are people that will just promote your product, but will be promoting hundreds of other people's products as well. So you want to have an immediate relationship with an affiliate or your affiliates, but you will have more of a close relationship with joint venture partners. So that's the difference between joint venture partners in itself and affiliates. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is very important thing. Let me just go back. If you see the code mcssl.com for any related keywords that are being used to find sites, that is from a company called One Shopping Cart, and they run an affiliate program. And I'll be covering in one of the other modules how affiliate programs work and what affiliate programs to use. But it's basically an affiliate program, which means that this site is heavily reliant on joint venture partners and affiliates. But the thing is, they're also open to doing joint ventures. Okay, they will understand how joint ventures work, and you can approach them to do joint ventures. So let's look at Board Reader. It's a forum targeting tool, and it's at boardreader.com. And this is quite powerful. If you type in the keyword goal setting, it will tell you that it's showed up in the last 16,000 posts over the last 3 months. So people are actually typing in this keyword quite heavily, and they're talking about goal setting. So you can intercept people's conversations and join in. As long as you give value, don't just try and sell or don't try and just promote something. Give value, and then you can pick up new joint venture partners this way, or you can actually find out also what people are talking about. So, for example, someone's mentioned their experience with goal-setting software. Is there an opportunity there to create that software or JV that software? Also, you can type in your product and your website domain in there as well to find out what people are saying and what they're talking about using Board Reader. And this is quite, it's actually quite a powerful tool. It's actually quite a really, really cool tool to use. Clickbank is also great. A lot of people put down Clickbank because, they say it's full of, rubbish products. I don't really recommend doing joint ventures with most products of Clickbank because most of the products aren't really of great quality. But the great thing with Clickbank is you can find some good research in terms of what it's selling really well. I mean, people sell millions of dollars of product on Clickbank, and I have a lot of people I know who have done launches using Clickbank and made millions and millions of dollars because they picked a good product with a good keyword, a good niche, and this is what was successful for them. So we can go into the self-help section and search by popularity, and for example, clicking on popularity, it gives you this product here, and it tells you how powerful it is with the gravity score, which tells you how popular this product is. And it's a very popular product. I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't done probably $1 million with that product. But again, it gives you a great opportunity to go in and see what people want. What's the point of creating products for joint ventures or going out there and seeking new products if people don't want to buy them? If people are after these sort of products, it's very important to do your research to find out what's working and what are people actually spending money on, because those are the ones you really want to be targeting. It's very important you do that. This is why it's fundamentally important to do this, and to use this, use the training in this module, especially for you guys who are on the live training. This is going to be your homework, to go out there and actually use some of this training to see how powerful it really is. So, a lot of you are trying to market a product or get a product out there. The biggest thing is getting a product out there. I have this great product, how do I get it out there? But the thing is, look at what is in the marketplace and look at what people are searching for and try and tailor that. It might be the name. You might need to change the name of your product because most people are typing in that keyword. As long as it's the similar content, as long as it's delivering what it says, then you've got to look at doing that. It's very, very important. I'll give you a snapshot. Here are two products of two friends of mine, and they used Clickbank. Basically, they're using Clickbank to market their product. But here's the interesting thing. Okay, now you can see here is when both of these products were running. The product that is the green product, they did 400,000 visitors over a period of 2-3 days, okay, or I think it was a month, and you can see from that they spiked. They had traffic went up to over 400,000 visitors over that period of time. Reason is they did a product launch, a classic joint venture product launch. They got affiliates to promote for them, and they spiked. Whereas you have this product here that is consistent in the way it's being promoted. So affiliates are promoting this product, and you can see it's actually gone up in terms of where it started from. So this would be the ideal product that you would want to promote or you would want to joint venture with, rather than the product that has the green line, which basically is now a dead product. It was just created specifically for a launch. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a good quality product. But the blue product is consistent in the way it's being marketed and being sold, and in terms of the traffic that's coming to the site. So this is a good way. You can go to Compete actually and actually do a like-for-like analysis of yourself and a competitor and see where the traffic is coming from. So it's very, very important, and see how much traffic there is. And again, the green one, it's virtually dead because they've gone back to zero, because at that time it was just a product launch. So it's really good to do this. If you find a product you really like, you can actually reverse engineer it and have a look at it, and you can actually type it in, and you can actually have a look at that product and see what the life cycle history was in terms of using using a traffic tool like compete.com. Okay, so let's look again at the three components of a successful joint venture. One is you need to have a really good product or service, basically a killer product or service. If you're looking to put together a successful joint venture, you also need a really good USP, unique selling point, okay, your unique selling proposition. The product has to be a strong product because you want to put out a quality product, and you want to make sure that the offering is really good. So if you are going into a joint venture with someone, you want to make sure that product is really good. And I'll cover more extensively on that, how to actually do that. And then obviously you want to look at packaging that together and putting that all together into a joint venture, whether it's an online joint venture, whether it's an offline joint venture. And I'll cover more about the different types of joint ventures you can be doing using the training that you're currently going through right now. So that is three components of a successful joint venture. But like I said, this is the first module. This is the module is a foundation to get you going. You've got some homework to do, going through the tools. What I'd like you to do is go through the tools and use the tools for your own keyword, for your own industry, for your own product. And what I'd like to see is if you go into the discussion forum, we've already set up an area there for a discussion on this module, and I'd like you to discuss the module in terms of your findings. What have you found from the module, doing the exercises, using the tools, and also discuss it with other members in the group. If we want to do that right now, that would be great. Or go through, use the tools, and then just let us know what you thought of that. Feedback is essential for us, and it'd be great to get everyone going on this. So that's the three components of a successful joint venture. So let's look at what we've covered here in Module 1. We covered an introduction to joint ventures. We covered the importance of why use keyword research, why to use keyword research when you're going out there creating joint ventures. We looked at some of the powerful keyword research tools that you should be using before you create any sort of joint venture. We looked at how to define your target market to make sure that your joint ventures are targeted. You know, there's always no point in going to approach a joint venture partner when they're not even targeted to what you need to be doing. That's the worst thing you can do, is approach a joint venture partner who doesn't really have any sort of complementary skills or resources that is great for you and great for your customers. We looked at some great target marketing tools, and again, I definitely want you guys to go out and use the target marketing tools and mention in the discussion forum how that would work. So that'd be really, really great. Also, we looked at finally the 3 components of a successful joint venture. What makes a joint venture really successful? And I will be covering more extensively about how to use joint ventures and how joint ventures work, different types of joint ventures in the next preceding modules. So that is the end of Module 1 of the Joint Ventures for Business training course, and I hope you really enjoyed